Hey, y'all, it's your legal bestie, attorney Simone, and this is another episode of Girl, Is That Legal? This episode is Legal Hot Topics of the Week. Let us know where you're watching from as you roll on in here, and let's just hop into it. So, what we've got on the docket for today is we got Bhad Bhabie slaps her mama. We've got an update on the ASAP Rocky trial, how it's going, and who do we think is likely going to be found in favor of? Is he going to be found guilty or not guilty? We're going to talk about the Proud Boys and Wendy Williams. We've got an update on Wendy Williams as well. So let's just get into it. We'll start with Little Miss Bhad Bhabie. Actually, before we do that, share screen. Here we go. Oh, it's in the opposite order. What is happening here? Oh, here we go. We'll just start from here. Oh, it's in the opposite order. Sorry, guys. Here she is. Poor little baby. So, many people remember Bhad Bhabie from her. She initially went viral years ago when she was on the Dr. Phil show. On the Dr. Phil show, she was there because she was naughty. That's the catch me outside girl, the little catch me outside girl. Now, y'all, come to find out, I found out why she was so bad. So she was on there for skipping school, doing all that. I don't know how to pronounce it. Bhad Bhabie. That's what it is. Bhad Bhabie. Sorry. Not Barbie, baby. But she was naughty as can be. Well, and angry, honey. Angry at the world. That's why she was up there. Catch me outside. Catch me outside. Like she was going to beat somebody up, even though she was like 12 or 13 at the time. Come to find out why she's upset, bless her heart, is because she was being molested by her mom's boyfriend multiple times, had informed her mom of this multiple times, and her mama didn't break up with him. Girl, I'd be mad too. So fast forward, she done slapped her mama, and it's on Ring camera, and she released the camera to her social media. So apparently, Bhad Bhabie's mama and her boyfriend, who beats her and knocks her across the head, Levon is his name, / baby daddy. The baby daddy and her mama have been going at it on social media. And the baby daddy said, you better basically quit messing with me, or I'm going to release the video of your daughter slapping the mess out of you. Apparently, the reason she slapped the mess out of her mama was because her mama made a racist comment about her deceased best friend. So here we go. I got it for you here. Let me pull the docket thing down. Hold on, because it's in the way. Y'all aren't able to see all of it. But here we are. No, actually, it's just fine. Here we go. So apparently, according to Hollywood Unlocked, Bhad Bhabie claims her mom made racist remarks about her deceased friend and then shared footage of the two of them getting into it. Let me make sure the audio is on this one because I need y'all to hear this. It says, my mom calls Black people monkeys. I smacked the mess out of her for calling my deceased friend a dead monkey. All I want, and then she's saying, y'all want to see the video? I said, yeah, I did. Here we go. It got audio too. Now she got the mama got in the headline. The mama saying, hit me one more time, I'll punch you. Hit me one more time. Here's what I don't understand. Why is the mama not fighting back? Come on, I'm gonna play a little more. Why is she not fighting back? Because she knows you wrong. Look, here they go. And why all these damn dogs? I counted 5 dogs in this video. What is this? Are you breeding them? Why do you have all these animals? I am so perplexed. There is just so much going on at this. Somebody said I came in late. Well, I'm not quite sure the girls call it N-words. All this. So what this is Bhad Bhabie, the little naughty little girl that used to be on Dr. Phil, released this video of her slapping her mother because the mother referred to her deceased best friend as a dead monkey. The girl is Black. And she said she does not hit that like button as y'all come on in. She doesn't like the fact that her mother does those things. We also talked about the fact that, come to find out, part of the reason why Bad Baby was so bad and was on Dr. Phil all those years ago, come to find out, was because she feels like her mother allowed her mother's boyfriend to molest her when she was a teenager. This happened multiple times, that she informed her mother of this, and that her mother didn't believe her and kept that man. Well, now today she done slapped the mama in the face, and the mama didn't even fight her back good. She was just sitting there resting, and she said, I could punch you. I could punch you. My mother would punch me first and then tell me about how much worse she could have done. It's just crazy. It says, there's like, somebody said the dogs probably have anxiety. The dogs are running all around this. I'm like, what is going on with these dogs? Yes, it says she's not a bad girl. She's traumatized. I wish I knew that context previously. That makes a world of difference. It says she's been dealing with that stuff since she was a child. Yes. No, couldn't have been a black mom. Couldn't have been a black mom. Yeah, this is new. No, this happened recently, and it was posted today. Yes, she needs all of our players. I'd be mad and angry too. And then now she's got this boyfriend slash baby daddy who knocks her all upside her head, and then she takes him back each time. She's just going through it, poor thing. And she's supposed to be going through cancer as well. So we just need to lift her up in prayer. We just need to lift her up in prayer. Now, let me see. Here we go. We absolutely, what is wrong with this? All right. In addition, don't forget, you can go to SimoneRedWine.com. Of course, I have to plug my site. On my site, you can order my ebook, which is called Background Checks 101, The Beginner's Guide to Finding Out Who the Heck You're Really Dealing With. Go to SimoneRedWine.com. And you can also hit this link here, book or hire Attorney Simone. If you'd like a consultation with me anywhere in America, it starts at just $149 for 30 minutes. And I always neglect to do this. I own a title company. If you have a closing anywhere in the state of Texas, give us a shout. It's experiencetitleLLC.com is our website, and it's the Red Wine Law Firm with Experience Title. We can take care of your legal issue. Whether you've got trying to save grandma's house, trying to save mama's house from taxes or gentrification, or you just having a closing of a home, an estate, etc., give us a call, and that's experiencetitleLLC.com. All right, next up on the docket, y'all. Here we go. Jamaica MP is like basically the president, pushes for mandatory DNA testing at birth to address paternity fraud, stating too many men are unknowingly raising children who are not biologically theirs. I want to know your thoughts in the chat. Oh, we only got 36 likes. Can we get like 60 more likes? Can y'all hit that like button? I want to know your thoughts. Do you think that DNA testing should be mandatory? Now, I was really impressed with these numbers. It says, imagine raising a child for years only to find out they're not yours. That's the reality for a lot of men in Jamaica and around the world. And now lawmakers want to put a stop to it. MP Heroy Clark, it says, is pushing for a new law that would require mandatory DNA testing. Why? It states that because the numbers are crazy. Some DNA clinics say nearly half of the men who take paternity tests aren't the real fathers. Other stats claims that number is as high as 70%. Clark says too many families are being torn apart when the truth comes out later in life. He believes this law could prevent heartbreak and deception before it starts. But of course, everyone is not on board. Some people say that forcing DNA tests on every baby could cause more problems like family violence or family breakdowns. Now, I think if they're going to institute a law like this, it should be for unmarried couples. I don't know that there should be mandatory DNA testing for married couples. But the question becomes, who's going to pay for that? Who is going to pay for that? Our government can barely afford, like our healthcare system is already frazzled and costing too much. So it says, I had a friend that had questions about one of his kids, but he said he didn't even want to know because he loves her. Yes. Well, so here's the problem that I've heard, particularly from African-American men that have said, who in the back of their minds and in their heart, they wanted one. They did not feel comfortable asking about it because we as a society have made them feel like just by asking, it means they're denying their child. That's not the case. You're confirming your child. You're not denying a child. And I feel like if you are a true leader, you need to be able to stand up and say, I want to confirm paternity before I bond and my family bonds with this child. But I've also seen it from the girl side. I have girlfriends who are particularly offended that a man, their boyfriend, has asked for a paternity test. I have a friend that was in a long distance relationship and her man asked for one and she was upset. And I thought, that's not something you should take personal, because I know that naturally you take it personally, but I feel like all unmarried men should do that, especially if you're in a long distance relationship, you're not living together, things like that. Because yes, you two were in, because some women will say, well, we were intimate. Yeah, but they don't know who else you could have also been intimate with. And people make honest mistakes. But I think when men ask for paternity tests and us women act like, well, this is you denying their child, I don't think that's fair. It's not denying the child. It's acknowledging that we're not married and people do whatever they want and can. So let me see what you got. Let me see what y'all put in the chat. Well, they can also be mandatory vasectomy because those are easy to reverse. No, they're not. They're not actually. The longer you wait, the less likely of success, and it costs thousands and thousands of dollars. It's way cheaper to get a DNA test. So a DNA test is like $60. Vasectomies are thousands. Don't men have the right to ask for one? Why does it need to be a law? Great question, Kiki. Yep, they absolutely do have the right to ask for one. Now, they're every now and then, and this is a sliver, this is a total sliver of men, every now and then. So what happens now with, if you want any type of welfare benefits, if you want Section 8, if you want food stamps, if you want any of that, you must list a man's name as the father. Whether you actually slept with that man or think he's the dad or not, some women have been writing down names because you can't get the benefits without it. Then I've seen men who claim they were never actually served later be ordered to pay child support on a child they never even took a paternity test for. But I think you're making a great point, Kiki, which is they have the right to ask for it. If they choose not to ask for it, that's their bad. I think that's fair. Including nowadays, you can actually get a paternity test while the woman is still pregnant with your baby. Back in the day, it used to be some form of an incision of a needle. Not anymore. One of my besties, she owns Fast Labs Now in Grapevine, Texas. Fast Labs Now, Grapevine, Texas. Pull it up, Google Maps. And at her clinic, they can test you while the mom is still pregnant. Just pricking the arm. They don't insert anything into the mama's vajigal jaggle. They don't put nothing in her buttercup. It's strictly a blood test. I felt like that was pretty cool. Now, it's more expensive than like the Walgreens version of the testing, but why not get it while the mom is still pregnant so that you can know whether you need to be there at that birth or not? I think that's a great idea. It says LaPrice says, no, get a DNA test. However, men aren't out here barely wanting to take care of this. That's a true problem. There needs to be a mandatory vasectomy at some point. I'm open to it. I used to think that if you had public benefits, if you're on public benefits, they should offer you the ability to have your tubes tied for free after you've had a child. Hey, y'all. Mandatory DNA means mandatory child support. Now, that's true. I always felt like child support should start. If you can prove that that baby is yours in the womb, child support should start in the womb. You should be responsible for half the medical fees and or get that mom on your health insurance so that the baby can be delivered with all of their benefits. But it's my understanding in Texas, even if it's determined to be yours while mommy is pregnant, they do not order child support until the baby is born. Now, how you going to walk around talking about life is at conception, but nobody has to take care of it, but the daddy don't have to help take care of it till it's here walking around making noise? That doesn't make any sense. They get to pick and choose when they want a life to be a life, and it ain't right. It ain't right. Hold on, here we go. One more thing. Next up, ASAP Rocky. Y'all, this trial has been a hoot. Now, I've been covering this trial on my channel. I should be back tomorrow covering it some more. Here we are. Ooh. No, I can't. Y'all get on my nerves. Here we go. Yeah, I should be covering it again tomorrow on the channel. And let me just bring you guys up to date with what we've got going on with the trial so far. Now, initially, he was offered a plea deal. In the plea deal, let's do it this way. In the plea deal, he was offered 180 days, which, because it would have been in LA County, it would have been the equivalent of honestly under a month, probably closer to 20 days of actual time in jail. Then it would have been 3 years of probation. Now, it likely would have terminated. He's supposed to be in a movie with Denzel Washington, produced by Spike Lee. He likely wouldn't be able to do that, and likely would not be able. He's the chair of the Met Gala this year in May. He likely would not have been able to do that either, because he would have been on probation for 3 years, which meant you can't leave the state, or you can't do so without some serious restrictions. Yes, I don't subscribe to this, whatever this is. So they're going to try to make me pay for it. Hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. Now we got it. I don't need to see the other stuff. So they put the offer on the table for him. Here we go. They put the offer on the table for him that was 180 days. And everyone was like, oh, he should have taken that. He's got these kids, because now he's facing 24 years. 24 years. Y'all, let me tell you about this case. This case is like straight up kangaroo court. So now we know, I'm going to tell you real quick, this is why ASAP did not take that deal. First of all, he's being charged with 2 counts of the same thing, which is aggravated assault with a semi-automatic pow-pow. Well, what's his defense? He had what looked like a pow-pow, but it was really just a prop gun. Well, based on that charge, if it ain't a real gun, he ain't guilty. How clever was that? But not only that, the key witness is the victim himself. The key witness is the victim, and he was a horrible witness. Here's why that witness is problematic. So they get in a fight. It's his name is Relly, is the victim. Relly, and then there's 2 other of the ASAPs that were there witnessing it as well. They kind of like try to break it up. But allegedly, right after the fight, which happened at nighttime around 9:00 at night, November 6th, 2021, ASAP Relly claims that he was grazed when Rocky shot at him, that his knuckles were grazed, just the top 2, that his knuckles were grazed. Now, after that happens, does he call the police? No. Does he go to the hospital? No. He goes to his hotel room, calls a lawyer. The lawyer allegedly tells him, go back to the scene and collect the gun shell casings, because I'm not going to take your case unless you make a police report. Well, then he doesn't make a police report the same day either. This is in LA. He waits till 2 days later, flies to New York. In New York, brings the shell casings himself. So allegedly, he found his own shell casings, despite the fact that the cops themselves were on the scene right after. So someone called 911 because they heard shots. And then the police were there within 10 or 15 minutes of the 911 call. The cops were there. They searched the same area, found no shell casings. Never in my life have I heard of a victim going back to the scene of the crime instead of calling the cops or calling an ambulance, finding their own shell casings, taking a flight, flying to New York, handing over the shell casings to the cops. But that's what happened here. And then when asked on the stand, when the victim was asked, have you ever shot a gun prior to this incident? He said, no. Then they show photo of him at a gun range prior to this incident. And they said, well, where was this? He said, I don't know, but it was in LA. Come to find out, not only was he lying about that, not only that, it was absolutely LA. It was the LA Gun Club 2 to 3 weeks before this incident where he's shooting a gun. Well, that matters, because what happens when you're at a range? You pop out the shell casings and they're all over the floor. So he easily could have picked them up. There were just so many lies that he was caught in that it's looking really bad. So now the state is on their last witness, which is a gun expert, who basically took the stand and said he didn't examine the casings. He just examined what possibly could have been the gun. Well, I've learned from this that prop guns, which is what ASAP is saying it is, prop guns both look and sound like real guns. Remember Alec Baldwin, how he was put on trial? That was because he was using what he thought was a prop gun for a set. They make the noise, they make a pow. That's what he thought. So I just think that this is brilliant. Yes, the jury is all white. That is correct. There were only, of the 100 people that showed up, only 7 were Black, and they all got nixed from the jury. Coach Mills asked, was the day 180 days and probation? It was 180 days, 3 years probation, 7 years probated sentence. So that means a 7-year probated sentence means if he were to get in trouble on probation, depending upon how long he was already served on probation, he could be sent back. He could be sent to jail for up to 7 years. So that's significant. Can we get more? We only have 60 likes. Yeah, there's a problem. Now, I have to say, it's not completely shut and dry. Shut and dry. Closed and dry. Whatever. You know what I mean. It's not completely that way. But one interesting factor that ASAP's team keeps honing in is, remember how I said the victim called a lawyer instead of calling the cops? He has now filed a $30 million lawsuit against Rocky. And right after finding the shell casings, he actually texts a photo of them to ASAP's manager and is telling him, I'm going to sue him. And he needs to run me my money. He says, I'm going to be rich. He tells someone else, I'm going to be rich. And also states in a recording that was played in court that he went and got a lawyer, because if you don't get a lawyer and you ask for money, it's considered extortion. $30 million. And remember, the civil attorney told him, I won't take your case unless you make a police report. So Rocky's team is trying to establish the only reason he went to the cops, made the police report, and turned in those shell casings, was so that he could pursue the $30 million case. Sounds like a good theory to me. Now, on the side of Rocky, the fact that's a little fudgy to me, that makes me say, I don't know, Rocky, is Rocky, if it's a prop gun, how come you haven't admitted it into evidence? And Rocky's attorneys have said that they don't intend to submit into evidence the prop gun. Now, the state has the burden of proof. The state executed a warrant. If they didn't find the prop gun in the warrant, that's their fault. Rocky does not have to submit it into evidence. He does not have to submit it into evidence. But it's actually quite clever of them, because they haven't violated any law by not submitting that. It's just very interesting to me. Sorry, y'all, that's my other phone. So it says he's trying to get more. Yes, he's trying to get more money than Warren Sapp, and Warren Sapp was actually arrested, etc. Not only he's trying to get $30 million, and it's not a permanent injury. His hand still works. He was using his hands the entire time during testimony, etc. So it says, yep. You guys are on it. Kelly says the police didn't look. They left 11 boxes unchecked. Yes. So that was the other funny part. There were all these boxes that were shown on the screen at Rocky's place. So this was like Rocky's man pad, because he lives with Brianna primarily, but he also has his own pad. The man pad was hella junky. Stuff was everywhere. And they showed a bunch of boxes that the police just chose not to open. So the defense was trying to claim and imply the prop gun could have been in there. You guys chose not to open those boxes. But also Rocky, at the end of the day, on that particular day, Rocky said, Your Honor, can I say something? And I went, oh no, because you don't ever want your client to speak to the judge unsolicited. He said, Your Honor, for the record, I just want to say my house is not usually that junky. So everybody cracked up laughing. I missed not watching it with you today too, Tiffany. I will be back tomorrow. So I've been covering it every day, but today, y'all, I actually watched it. I watched it as I was working and doing other things, but it was just so boring today because it was like the gun experts. I'm waiting for the defense to call its witnesses. When the defense calls its witnesses, baby, I'm back on that thing. That's what I want to know. That's what we want to know. Did the state find any wet pow-pows? Yeah. So the state they did find some pow-pows, and then they found a magazine with 9mm, and they're trying to imply that the magazine was found, but that the gun itself is missing, and that it's missing because it's the weapon at issue, and therefore it's intentionally missing. The problem is, one, they didn't open the boxes, and two, the expert that the state put on the stand today acknowledged that he did not test the casings in comparison to any particular gun. So he's not helping. Miss y'all. $30 million lawsuit. He's thinking about going after Rihanna's money. For real. Literally. It says, Kelly said, shouldn't the state end with a bang? It was hella boring today. It was real snooze fest. I had a feeling. Y'all, one thing I know my law. And I was like, oh no, this is gonna be worse than watching paint dry. Yeah, it was pretty terrible with the U. Oops, sorry. Wrong docket. Now we got ASAP Rocky trial. Oh, the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys ain't so proud no more. So the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys is a racist organization that recently lost a civil lawsuit in DC Superior Court. So the Proud Boys vandalized a church in 2020. And as a result, the trademark is now owned by the church, African Methodist Episcopal Church, who they vandalized. You guys, this should be used more frequently. I love this approach. So now the church is authorized to pursue any profits that the group makes from any sales of anything with the name on it, with the logo on it. Ow, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. They get the website, t-shirts, anything. So effectively, they're going to have to change their name if they don't want to have to keep paying the church. You know who else I've always been like that I'm surprised who hasn't done that yet is actually Cardi B. Cardi B. Why? Because we all know she's in the lawsuit with Tasha K. Now, the bankruptcy is still proceeding. Yep, I just finished with Rocky's case. The bankruptcy in Cardi B's case is still proceeding. What she could ask for is a forced sale of Tasha's assets. Well, one such asset they have not been discussing, and I don't know why, is her trademark. Well, I do know why. Tasha K's allegation is it's only worth something to me. Baby. But with that trademark would be the YouTube channel. She could own the YouTube channel. It's got over 1 million subscribers. That's data. That's analytics. I could see someone wanting to buy it from her, or even Cardi wanting to take it and change the name to something else. That's what intellectual property is, and it's valuable. So in the same way that the Proud Boys trademark is now owned by this church, hypothetically, Cardi B could do the same thing to Tasha K. So we will have to stay tuned on that one too. All right, hit that like button, guys, as you come in. All right. Oh, so talking about the ASAP case, it says, I can't get over Relly saying he found the casings within a few minutes, but multiple police officers who were on the scene for quite a while didn't find anything. Oh, before we go to Wendy, we got to talk about our homegirl over there in Pakistan. Let me see if I can find it. Let me find one of these videos. I didn't save some of her. I don't know. We gonna find our homegirl, Onija, whatever. Oh, that poor Pakistani. I have to pray for Pakistan because this lady annoyed the hell out of these people. So we're talking about, so someone has asked, what are my thoughts on the lady, this black lady. Here she go. Let's see. Oh, wait. Let me share it. Hold on. Let me switch it up. Hold on. Wait. I'm about to play it. Bye. Hold on. Wait a minute. I got an even better one. Hold on. I'm going to pull her up. Hold on. She's such an amazing woman. Wait. We got to talk about our Pakistani homegirl. Actually, let me play this one while we were there. Bless her. She's American. She is.
My demand today is to put on a newspaper that y'all gonna give us money tomorrow or by the ending of this week. We need 50K.
We need 50K out.
Listen, it's not about that. It's about money. So
your dad is turning 94 in February.
All right. There we go. Now you can put it back.
मैं तस्वुर नहीं कर सकता था कि कराची के हवाले से इस किस्म की कोई आवाज या कोई शख्स ऐसी हरकत करेगा। और अगर भाई तुमने बुलाया है, ये तो 19 साल नौजवान है, गार्डन का सुन रहा है भाई, अगर तुमने बुलाया है तो फिर
I don't live here.
Oh, it's not playing. Hold on. This is them complaining about her.
My plan is to fix up this building, shield the front, make the front stronger, and that if anybody walk past this house in this building, it's not a game.
3-4 महीने से तुम्हारे साथ नहीं थी वो खातून, कहाँ थी जब वो कराची में थी अक्टूबर से?
Where was she when
शादी करो भाई,
marry her brother? They're telling her, and they want her to marry this man. Wait, I didn't see this additional clip.
अच्छा, मैं जो है मतलब नाम मेरा अब्दुल रहीम है और मैं शादी करना चाहता हूँ इस खातून से।
तो यहाँ बसना चाहती है तो मैंने अभी एक नया मकान लिया है, गुस्से मेहमान में मैं इनको वहाँ रिहाइश भी दूंगा, तो $5,000 है वो भी दूंगा।
अब भाई गिव एंड टेक है, वो कोई दूध की धुली भी नहीं है। आइए, तो मेरी डिमांड है $50,000 रख दे, मुझे साथ ले जाए, मैं चला जाऊंगा। अब वो एग्री नहीं होगी क्योंकि खुद कंगली है वहाँ की, तो क्या देगी, वो खुद पैसे मांग रही है।
We need 50K. My demand today is
Y'all, so these men have now started saying, well, I'll marry her, but she needs to give me money. Yo, I'm dying. I'm dying. They're like, I'll marry her, but she's gonna have to give me money. But she's broke too. Then you have some others on that video who were like, yes, let me roll back the proposals. The proposals were my favorite part. Hold on, is it the same one?
You chilling here? Why are you not taking your flight?
it's none of your business. Now go home. Listen,
Yes.
Jeddah International Airport
Yes.
needs to go down.
Needs
Do
to
you
go
hear me? Once it go down, you have to get out. That's all I have to say for tonight.
Y'all, I gotta go back to the marriage proposals. I need you. I'm gonna read them to you since they've got like a, what do you call that at the bottom? They got the here we are.
To put on a newspaper that y'all gonna give us money tomorrow or by the ending of this week. We need 50K. Listen, it's not about that. It's about money. So send it in. We need 50K.
Under family pressure, it says he refused to marry her, according to him.
मैं तस्वुर नहीं कर सकता था कि कराची के हवाले से इस किस्म की कोई आवाज या कोई शख्स ऐसी
I don't
हरकत
know
करेगा।
why somebody
और अगर
would
भाई
do
तुमने
that.
बुलाया है, ये तो 19 साल नौजवान है, गार्डन का सुन रहा है भाई, अगर तुमने बुलाया है तो फिर करो ना शादी।
To marry her.
अब ये कौन सा नया ड्रामा लिया है तुम कि मेरी अम्मी नहीं मान रही और अब्बू नहीं मान रहे?
Obviously now we leave Pakistan and this wants to come.
My plan is to fix up this building.
Hold on, we
shield
don't
the
see
front,
proposals that they
make
gave
the
us.
front stronger, and that if anybody walk past this house in this building, it's not a game.
3-4 महीने से तुम्हारे साथ नहीं थी वो
Wasn't this
खातून,
lady
कहाँ
with
थी?
you for 3 or 4 months?
कराची में थी
Where
अक्टूबर
was
से।
she? When
शादी
she
करो
was
भाई।
marry her brother. Marry her. Robinson is now receiving many marriage proposals from local Pakistani men. Here we
अच्छा,
go.
मैं जो है मतलब नाम मेरा अब्दुल रहीम है और मैं शादी करना चाहता हूँ इस खातून से।
तो यहाँ बसना चाहती है तो मैंने अभी एक नया मकान लिया है, गुस्से मेहमान में मैं इनको वहाँ रिहाइश भी दूंगा, तो $5,000 है वो भी दूंगा।
अब भाई गिव एंड टेक है, वो कोई दूध की धुली भी नहीं है। आइए, तो मेरी डिमांड है $50,000 रख दे, मुझे साथ ले जाए, मैं चला जाऊंगा। अब वो एग्री नहीं होगी क्योंकि खुद कंगली है वहाँ की, तो क्या देगी, वो खुद पैसे मांग रही है।
We need 50K.
Y'all, I feel sorry. She might take one of these little marriage proposals up for their offer. She may do it because that was all kind of crazy, all kind of crazy. All right, so now our girl Wendy. So our girl Wendy Williams. I'm going to share this on here. Let's see. So the last item on the docket is Wendy Williams. And with Wendy, I want to start. I'm going to play this clip What we're talking about is an update on Wendy Williams. She has had an actual win in her guardianship case. I'm going to play this clip, though, from an interview between Wendy and Harvey Lewin.
He's up there in age, and I know you want to go to Miami to see him and celebrate his birthday because you don't know how many more there are going to be.
Right, exactly.
Look at her. Bless her heart.
That must be important for you.
Yeah. So
it's extremely important
for her to see her dad.
Extremely important to see my dad for his birthday. And that is a family thing. It's not just a me thing. I would wish that along with celebrating my dad's 94th birthday, that we as a family would come together in peace and harmony. That's what I wish for my dad.
Bless her heart. All right. So part of the good news is, number one, a judge did approve for Wendy Williams to visit her dad for his 94th birthday. She's allowed to go for 2 days and then she has to come back. But I think Wendy might have screwed that up big time. Why? Because the court also ruled that she is not to have any other communications with the media. And what does Wendy do? Call into the Breakfast Club. So Wendy has called the Breakfast Club the other day and has shared her thoughts on what's taking place so far. So I'm going to play the audio clip for you because they don't play around and they will strike me. So let me know if you hear this. Okay.
To get off my chest. Oh, that's what we do here. We have a segment called Get It Off Your Chest, actually. That's right.
Perfect. Well, there's this lawsuit saying that if the lawsuit is with Lifetime and A&E, and it's the lawsuit that I've been told I stand to win $20 million.
Now, what was the? Let's refresh people on what the lawsuit was. What was the lawsuit?
The lawsuit was that 4+ being starring me on TV, which I only watched once and will never watch again in life. It was disgusting. And by the way, I watched it with my guardianship person. Yes, we watched that together. The first time the guardianship person was like, "Oh my gosh," and she was writing stuff down, and I was looking like, "Oh my God,"
So Wendy is talking about. So in the clip, Wendy is talking about how she watched the A&E movie with her guardian, and also that she's the lawsuit that the guardian has brought. Wendy stands to win approximately $20 million. That's true. But later in the interview, she goes on to say that she does not believe she has frontal temporal dementia, which is one thing, and that she feels like she's finding that she does not feel that she needs a guardian. Part of the challenge is this frontal temporal dementia. People present perfectly fine. You cannot look at anyone and tell that they have that. And I did a little research on this form of dementia. This form of dementia strikes people between the ages of 45 and around 65. So she's right in that time frame. Well, as a component of it, you are placed generally in a memory care unit, which is where she is right now, where Wendy is. But like many are saying, many feel that Wendy is stable on her feet. She's standing without support. She has the funds to have a full-time caregiver that would travel with her, and that she should be able to select the caregiver as long as the person is certified. That does make sense. The challenge is I don't know what that budget looks like, but I know that the place that she is at is pretty expensive. I think previously the caregiver, but it's going to be a matter of, part of the challenge with Wendy is she dismisses people that are there to take care of her. So there's going to need to be a level of compliance. Now, I think at this point, it absolutely sounds like it's time to evaluate at a minimum a different guardian, whether it's a family member or just someone other than the current person. It just appears that the family doesn't trust this person. Neither does Wendy. And while it's, the incapacitated person alone is not sufficient to be like, hey, I want another guardian. But I think all these factors together, and the fact that it's now been 3 years since this guardianship, it appears that it's time to consider additional options. Now, I'm concerned in particular that because Wendy has violated the judge's instructions to not speak with the media, the judge could choose to sanction her by not allowing her to see her father. Now, that would likely be at the recommendation of the guardian. If the guardian says, hey, I'm concerned she's going to go down with the people and, continue to speak with the media and do interviews, that could be an issue. Now, going back to the actual interview with the Breakfast Club, some people, I think we can all agree she sounded much better than the last time she was on the Breakfast Club. But part of the challenge is that even in the interview with the Breakfast Club, she had periods where she was like contradicting herself. So there was an aspect where she said, hey, I did not like the A&E, the Lifetime special. I'll never watch it again, because she was unhappy with it. But then later she says, I don't want to sue A&E. I don't want to sue Lifetime. I love them and I'd like to work with them again. Now, Wendy's smart. She knows if you sue an entity, they won't work with you again. And I know that one of the things that she's counting on is getting back in front of the TV, getting back in front of the camera, rather. And so a component of the reason why she may not want to bring the A&E lawsuit is likely because she knows you cannot both sue A&E, which is also Lifetime, and be given a show by them. It just doesn't happen. Ask Nene. Nene sued Real Housewives. We ain't seen her on there since, right? But what's interesting is the big victory here is that Wendy Williams' guardian has ordered a new mental and medical health exam. That is huge, because if this comes back and says, nope, it's not frontal dementia, or no, it's not as bad as it seems, basically this guardian has said it based on the mental examination. If it comes back and says that Wendy is now okay, then they will follow Wendy's orders and drop the lawsuit from A&E. I think that is a huge victory. It's a step, because the number one issue is, I think what is keeping her, not even I think, I know what's keeping her in the guardianship is this dementia diagnosis. So if there can be a different diagnosis, that would be step one in getting out of the guardianship. And then if this were my loved one, even if it comes back and says, yes, it's dementia, I would still petition the court to see if, okay, we've used Sabrina Morrissey for the last 3 years. Now, us, one of the relatives who are qualified, whether it's her niece or otherwise, we would like to petition this court to be replaced as guardian. We can be, I've spoken about this before, in order to be a guardian, you have to be bonded, licensed, insured. And as long as one of the relatives can do that, let's go from there. But it seems like at this point, there needs to be a reason why she is the appropriate guardian, given all of the challenges there. Yes, she is. Thank you, Queen. She is on the memory loss floor. That's part of why it's on lockdown, part of why she can't have her phone, because some of those people they'll call all kind of people when they're having a lucid info. Now, granted, she's not as bad as, like, I think a lot of times when you think of dementia, or we think of Alzheimer's, we think of how our grandparents suffered with that, people like that. And because she looks nothing like that, a lot of people are like, she's fine. But I believe there was previously a diagnosis. Now, on the Breakfast Club, they were questioning the diagnosis because they were acknowledging that it takes usually 3 years to make the diagnosis. The question becomes, but it's 3 years from the onset of it. It could have onset prior to the guardianship. The guardianship isn't the onset. The guardianship is part of what happened that made them then get certain diagnoses. Also, with frontal temporal dementia, there's 3 different ways that it can show up. One is like people have difficulty with their movements, maybe hand shaking, body shaking, things like that. But another one is it changes your personality. It makes you say mean things. We saw in that documentary, she was having a perfectly fine conversation with her niece, and then she's like, "You've gotten fat." That's literally what that form of dementia does. And then you'll say something like that, and then they'll go back to being perfectly fine and be like, "So it's a beautiful day outside." But it's because there are areas of the brain that are impacted. Can her lawyer control her conservatorship? The lawyer absolutely could. If the lawyer is otherwise qualified, I know in my state, you just have to take a CLE. You have to take a CLE. you have to be able to get licensed and bonded. So certain things like you can't have a bankruptcy or a recent bankruptcy, at least. Your credit score's got to be decent, which I think is fair. You shouldn't be over here with the 520 credit score talking about you're going to marry somebody's money. Thank you. Let's get some wine glasses in the chat. It says, my mom has dementia currently, but that doesn't mean she cannot see her family. Yeah, I don't understand why she can't move to Florida. That was one of my first things. Let that woman go to Florida. Anybody who has a loved one with dementia knows one of the best sources of medicine is being around a non-toxic family. Being around people that love you helps so much. My understanding is of the reason with which she can't go to Florida is probably because the Guardian is based in New York and has to check up on her in certain things. It is probably easier for her to do that in New York. But if that's the only reason, I don't think that's a good reason. That does not sound like a legitimate reason. Power of attorney. So now it's the Guardian. Great question, that guy from Texas. Who is her power of attorney? It's the Guardian. The Guardian is over all of that. So that's the basis of the A&E lawsuit, is that A&E knew that she had a guardian at the time that they had her sign the contract. If you have a guardian, you do not have the faculties to be able to enter into a contract. And therefore, that contract should be void or voidable. And that's the position that her guardian is taking for her at this moment. Was Wendy drinking or using substances when they diagnosed her? Sure was. She absolutely was. And so that is a large part, I believe, of why she's doing so much better. The challenge is that it does not reverse the impact on the brain once you stop drinking and stuff, but it does slow down the impact. Was Wendy going through withdrawals when they diagnosed her? Great question. I'm not sure. She was drinking very heavily back then. LaPrice says, I believe what happened to Wendy was she found out her husband cheated, had a baby on her, and she fell off the wagon. Oh, absolutely. That was absolutely the ultimate trigger. Did Wanda get her debt paid off yet? Great question, Queen. It doesn't appear so yet, but if she does, it'll be in the county records of that particular New Jersey county where she lives. People take advantage of that situation. They sure did. So good news. The good news is we're going to have to stay tuned. We'll want to see what happens with the new diagnosis. Now, the court records in the guardianship are sealed, which is for the best. Although I hope that I know that the family's attorney that they've hired that that attorney can see everything because they're an attorney of record. But it's you and me and family members individually that cannot. If someone could find Wendy's GoFundMe, drop that link in the comments below. I'll make sure to pin it so that we can support her. And someone had asked me, I don't know, I was on a different live. No. I was actually on a client call. I was trying to explain. So what's interesting about the GoFundMe is when you're dealing with a situation like this, a guardianship, you have to be very careful how you set up the GoFundMe. If the GoFundMe is set up for Wendy, like in Wendy's name, the guardianship controls it. You don't want that. It needs to be for the family, which this is how it is structured, for the family to hire an attorney to investigate her needs and whether the guardianship is appropriate. In that case, she keeps all the money. So just something to think of when you're going to set up a GoFundMe. For example, I've seen people who the parent of the child died. Let's say the daddy died and the dad and baby mama were not getting along. If you set up a GoFundMe for that child and there was no will, that money all goes to the mom. The mom controls everything. So if the mama's in jail or this or that, you got a whole issue. So you just want to think about that. She told Black China her name is still Hunter. It is. When I pulled up the court documents, that is correct. Yeah, it is. Thank you. The self-care channel. We do not evaluate and do testing on someone intoxicated. Thank you. Okay, so it sounds like what you're getting at there is with respect to the dementia testing, you got to wait or certain of mental health testing, you have to wait till the person is clean. Now, that's true. That's true, because at one point I thought I was bipolar, and I went to the doctor. I was like, I think I'm bipolar. And come to find out, he was like, you're not. You've just been taking too much Adderall. He was like, the amount that you're taking it would actually be malpractice for me to give you a bipolar test because the amount of Adderall I was taking, because I was overusing mine, it said it makes your mind behave just like a bipolar mind. Go figure. Ooh. We would not diagnose, she says, we would not diagnose someone with withdrawals either. It says, Miss Wendy has been making it clear that Sabrina isn't reliable and a health risk. That's what I get from her sounding off. I have to say, as a lawyer, once I read the A&E lawsuit, I was like, this is literally exactly what a guardian is supposed to do. I want to keep up with that lawsuit, and I'll post some of it for you guys, but I want to keep up with it because the thing of it is this. That lawsuit is literally saying you guys underpaid her, you owe her money, you exploited her, da da da. That's what you want someone to do on your behalf. I think the challenge is that Wendy feels two things. By doing this, it's burning a bridge with someone that she wants to, that she had a relationship with, that she wants to be back on TV with. And also, she feels like she's overpaying for the legal representation. Now, at first, I was agreeing with, because some of the law firm that was hired to represent Wendy in this lawsuit against A&E, I guarantee you some of those lawyers charge $1,000 an hour. Absolutely. I thought that at first. And then when I saw the law firm that they're going against, I was like, oh, no, that law firm charges probably $2,000 an hour. They're both top firms. I went to Cornell Law. They're based in New York. I'm very familiar with both. But what I'm saying is you got to fight fire with fire. She probably had an idea. A&E is going to come with attorneys that are top notch. We got to fight them top notch. And the beauty of it is if she wins this suit, she will also get her attorney's fees. So we will have to see. I have a feeling, do I think Wendy still has money? I do. I think she still has some money. Yes, please do. Absolutely. You can review. Anybody that wants to review this, like whenever I'm like giving like legal education, legal knowledge, please do. Just give me a little credit in the bottom and put a little at girl, is that legal? Do I think Wendy? I think she has some money. I think that she has some money, and I think that part of the challenge is that the reason for the A&E lawsuit in part is because her money is dwindling. That also may be why she's not at home with a home care nurse. Also, with the home care nurse, they are very, very expensive. My best friend owns a home care company. It's extremely expensive, especially in New York, for around the clock. And when you calculate how much would need to be paid in rent, plus how much she would need for someone 24 hours, plus doctors to make house calls, it very well might be that this memory care unit is less expensive. Because remember, insurance can pay for a memory care unit, can give a lot more towards that versus if you're at home. Much more. So it likely is cheaper for her to be in the memory care unit than to be at home. But again, that does not fix the problem of her alienation from her family. And if she can simply be transferred to even a memory care unit in Florida, she'd probably be much happier. Do I think Wendy still has money? Hi, Simone. Something the best guardian is someone that sometimes, is the best guardian someone you don't know. I have learned that from experience. Yeah, well, what we talked about before is let's be very clear. The reason Wendy does not have a relative as her guardian is because Wendy said no. The court tried, her family tried, Wanda tried to be her guardian, volunteered to be her guardian, submitted paperwork to be her guardian, is my understanding. But Wendy said, no, I don't want Wanda because Wanda won't let me drink. She even says it in the documentary. So, but whenever the incapacitated person has a loved one that says, I'll do it, but they say, I don't want her, you have to appoint a neutral third party. The court had no choice. The court had no choice. Trey said her family screwed her. I don't know about. I don't know. Do you have any specific examples, Trey, of how the family messed her over? It says, I feel given Wells Fargo has a poor reputation. Simone, do you think Wendy needs a forensic accountant? For sure. Absolutely. But this is also like her going into a bank and making questionable moves, decisions is consistent with frontal temporal dementia. That is exactly the kinds of things that people will do with that then start raising alarms. Hit that like button for us, guys. But while she was in memory care, the guardian was selling her properties because yes. So that may not be a bad thing. They might have been selling the properties because they were empty. They had no renters. They may have no renters. Remember, let's see, her son was very, very, very much behind on his rent. And I believe it was supposed to be a rent to own type of thing. He ended up getting evicted. So if she doesn't have the money for the units, that's what you have to do. Also, she can't use the unit. So it might be best. The question becomes, did they get market rate for the property? Did they clear off her debt? Were they able to get equity? Were they able to get more money that would give her a better standard of life? I don't know that answer. And I think that's one of the things that the family wants to know about too. Andre said, I believe it started out in her best interest and was morphed into something. You know what, Andre? I think so too. I think that is true. Yeah, Kevin was irresponsible. He was spending $100,000 in Uber Eats. But when Kevin, her son, was asked about spending the $100K in Uber Eats, his response was, well, those weren't for me. Those were for my mom. My mom wanted me to make those orders. That was food for her. But I've stated before, that actually goes in favor of him not being able to be her guardian. Because if you're unable to tell the incapacitated person no, then that means you're unable to look out for their best interests. If you are just going to do whatever they say do, it's as good as not having a guardian. So that actually hurt him. Okay. Thank you. Self-Care Channel is saying, just to be open, that's a special, unique diagnosis. Talking about Wendy's diagnosis as frontal temporal dementia. She said it's a special, unique diagnosis and it may not change. Also, the diagnosis may be clarified with other issues. Let's hope for the best. I anticipate that the diagnosis will either be affirmed or they'll find that it is some other form of dementia. But I do believe that there is alcohol-induced dementia present in some capacity. Hey, Simone, try to listen to you today, but couldn't find you. Oh, I didn't do the trial today. It was so boring. I was like, I'd rather watch some paint dry. Yes, I heard her son was getting evicted too. I think he already has been evicted. He was behind $100,000 in his rent, and it was supposed to be a rent to own situation. But again, that was pre-guardian. And what was going on there is Wendy was behind on certain bills. So that was part of what the guardian had to come in there and do, is either get her caught up on things or get properties sold before she has a foreclosure on her record. Yeah, Saber says, yeah, forensic accountants can find anything, even documents that have been deleted. That's true. And don't want to see no more on anything. It says, yeah, he can't tell his mom no. Talking about her son, Kevin, has difficulty telling the mom no. Maybe when he gets older, he'll be better at standing up to her. We all know she's a lot of woman. Yeah, I see Wanda, Wendy's sister. Wanda will stand up to her. That's her big sister. Wanda is not, especially at this point, Wanda is a licensed former attorney. I don't think she's practicing currently. She previously represented children who needed representation, who needed to be protected, who were in the system, etc. So if you're out here representing those children who need love, I feel like she could do a great job representing her sister, and that it might be time now for a reevaluation of whether Wanda can now take over. Saber says the print house was sold undervalued. Oh, that's unfortunate. Shouldn't Wendy's sister, who's an attorney, be granted guardianship rather than the court appointee? So yeah, Linda, that's exactly what I just spoke about. But also you have to remember, she tried to be the guardian. Wendy said no because she was not going to let Wendy drink and it was clear Wendy had become an alcoholic. So hope this update helps. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Girl, Is That Legal? Legal Hot Topics. Drop below some more topics you'd like for me to cover next. Take care. And I'll be back. I will be back on the ASAP Rocky trial when it turns to the defense side. I want to see defense witnesses. I don't need to hear any more of these people talking about ballistics and guns that really don't even matter. And don't forget, if you have real estate closing, if you're buying any real estate in the state of Texas, contact us at experiencetitle.llc.com, experiencetitlellc.com, run by my firm, the Red Wine Law Firm. We'd love to help. Y'all take care.